Hello, welcome to Calls with your Kinky Bestie. I'm Emma. I am a submissive and mentor for fellow kinksters. This podcast is all about insights into kinky life and dating, sharing my personal experience and stories, and help share mindset shifts too to get you into a confident space, more confident than you are now. So get ready. It all starts now.
Hey y'all. Okay, here's hoping this is a shorter episode. I have a shorter list of bullet points, so we will see. But oh my god, last week's got really long and really carried away. But hey, it was important. It was good. It lives on my website now. It's entering my, all my FAQs for my website and mentorship and stuff. Okay, cool. So today I have a really fucking fun one. We are talking about something that I talk about in mentorship, which is realizing your dream kink life and manifesting and making it fucking real for you. So we're going to break it all down. It's going to be so much fucking fun. And honestly, it's going to be like a mini mentorship session. So I am fucking excited for you. Let us do this thing. Okay. So the first thing to realizing your dream kinky life, because I know you've got a shit ton of desires around kink now, that's why you're here, is to make a list somewhere of just every single kinky desire that you have. It could be like specific actions, like specific things you want to do in bed, tools you want to try and implement, scenes you want to be in, but it can also be like ways you want kink to be in your life more. Like, do you wish you had like a kinky job? Like, do you wish that you lived in an environment where kink was cool? Do you wish that, you were in more kink social spaces and scenarios? Just like every little thing your kinky heart desires is getting all written out on this page, this Google Sheets, Excel document, like whatever it is. And really take your time with this. Go deep. Go through your porn search history if you need to. Like, do what you gotta do, and pause and come back or whatever. Okay. When you have your list of all your kinky things that you want to happen in your life, next to each of those items, you're gonna write out a tangible action that you can take for each of these to get you this thing. Like, okay, if you're, I should have come up with examples before this. You know it doesn't work well whenever I try to come up with examples on the fly, but we'll try. So, okay, if one of your kinky desires is to have a diaper play scene, what would be an action that you could take for that to happen? You could write out multiple actions if there are, but it's also okay to just write out one for each, especially if you have a shit ton of kinky desires. Like, maybe it's as simple as like, buy a diaper. Find a kinky partner who would do this thing that you want to do. Or maybe it's finding a space where you can do this thing, or finding time in your routine where you can do this thing. Like, what is the action that would get you there? So, okay, so if the thing that you would need to have that scene that you want to have is to have time in your day, well, having time in your day isn't the tangible action. The tangible action would be like scheduling in and blocking out time to do this with yourself. The tangible action would be like purchasing a diaper, not just researching. Like, what would the actual physical things that you have to do that would get you closer towards whatever this desire is? And writing that out for every single item on your list. So for a lot of the things that are just like buy certain tools, okay, the action is just buy that thing. But maybe the action is also like, oh, I need a place to store all of these things I want. So it's like it's like finding some sort of kink storage solution. Maybe clearing out a closet or something, or like clearing out a shelf or a drawer in your dresser. And for the bigger life things, like be surrounded by a kinky community, you might have to get a little bit creative, like about what the tangible actions could be, because there might be, there's likely for all of these things, like 10 different or, infinite amount of paths that you could take to get that thing into your life. So you can write out as many as you want, but start with just at least one action for every single one of your lovely desires. And again, this is an actual thing that you could do that will get you there. And then once you've done all that lovely stuff, get on your reflection, your introspective glasses, and go through that list of tangible actions. And the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to scan through the repeats. Like maybe there's one action that you could do that would actually cross off, or get you closer to 5 of the things on your kinky desires list. But there's probably going to be a lot of tangible actions you could take that would just get you closer to 1. But start with looking for the repeats. And again, what are the things that, one small action or maybe one big action, but again, it gets you closer to more than just one of your desires. It makes a lot of things real really quickly. So what are those things? Maybe highlight or star them. And once you've got kind of an awareness of what those things are that are actually going to move the needle towards a lot of the kinky things you want to have happen in your life, then you're going to go through that tangible actions list and look for things that make other things easier. So thinking about the operational order that you would have to take. Oh my God, I know that does not sound kinky or fun or sexy at all, but is there one thing that you could do that would make 5 of your other tasks easier? Maybe you don't have a lot of repeats, or maybe you do have a lot of repeats, but your repeats are buy a thing. And maybe that's hard for you to do at your current income level or whatever it is. So what is one thing that you could do, something that's on your tangible action list that would get you closer to that? So if your desire, maybe if one of your desires is to be a sex toy tester, well, one thing that would get you a whole lot closer to having those 5 sex toys that you want to fulfill, whatever those desires would be to, start a sex toy blog, start reaching out to brands, asking to do that thing for you, posting your current sex toy reviews, whatever, what would get you closer to those things? And it doesn't have to be, always rooted in the financial, though that's great. If one of your desires is to have a job that ties your kink in, that makes you a shit ton of money, then that's probably going to make a lot of the other things on your list a lot easier if you were to do that first. So look at if starting there is actually going to be, the most efficient course of action for you. You might, along that path of doing one of those things that, again, makes 5 things easier down the line, you might, have to take one of those other tangible actions at the same time. Maybe they can pair together and help you achieve the same thing at once too. So that is really fucking cool. But yeah, okay. So you're noticing repeats. So what you're really looking for on your tangible actions list are whatever the efficiencies are. Because I'm telling you, if you are just going through these items one by one, haphazardly as they happen, just kind of crossing off one little action here or there, and if it's just a slower way to do things. And if you're listening to this episode because you want your kinky life to happen fast and you are ready to take the action, and you probably have ADHD and maybe some actions are harder to take than others, or you kind of lose steam along the way. So by just taking a little bit of time to strategize and look at all the shit you want to get done, and then make an actual plan for, well, if I do this first, then these next 5 things are actually going to take me half the amount of time, or they're going to take me no time, because in doing this one thing, it takes care of all of these things at the same time. So, like I said, because there's so many different tangible actions you could take for any of those desires, and so many different, really routes of action that this could go, and you don't want to close yourself off to okay, well, because the thing on my kinky desires list is to, let's say, have a session with a Sybian, and the action that I wrote down is to buy a Sybian, Well, there's also so many other fucking ways that could happen for you. So be careful not to close yourself off to those, but instead use this as an opportunity to get even more creative and be even more open to the ways that they could happen for you. Because maybe you're trying that Sibian because you find a partner that's one of your other goals and they already have one. Or you're going to a club or event where there's an Sibian and you're having the best scene of your life. And that's crossing off your use a Sibian box and also, your experience this other scene box. Or, maybe it gets you more kinky community and stuff. Like, use it as an opportunity for creativity and, just be lovely and optimistic here and see what you can come up with. So that is one of the big steps, or that's just one of the biggest things you can do is actually write out all your desires. Realize okay, what are the things, the tangible things that I need to do to make them happen, or that I could do to make them happen. But there's also a million other routes that, maybe I can't even imagine right now that would get me that thing too. And then just being more intentional about what are those things that you're doing first, what is going to be the most impactful and the most powerful towards getting you that thing a lot faster. And this is why I say, by the way, because my episode last week is all about mentorship, and I shared that the reason that I charge for a first session with me, even though a lot of coaches will give you your first session for free, is because I'm really good at making shit simple and to make your life happen really freaking fast for you, because this can be fast. You don't have to overthink it. Okay. And if you are struggling a bit to come up with what these tangible actions could be, or recognizing where there are patterns, or recognizing what are the things that can make other things easier, or you're struggling with the creativity piece, oh my God, book a mentorship call with me. I can really help you piece those things together from an outside perspective that still knows what the fuck is up in the kinky circle. It can also be, a good thing to have a mentor on board, especially if you logically know the actions that you need to take. If making this list was really fucking easy for you, but you just went, okay, yeah, I've known I need to do that and I haven't done it for the past 6 months, then having a mentor can be really valuable, depending on the way that would motivate you to do that. So if you're needing someone to nudge you to do the things, mentorship can do that for you. You just have to communicate that you need, what you're looking for is a nudge, or just, communicating that you know what you need to do and are struggling to do it. Because maybe it's a simple mindset shift that you need to make too. Or maybe the social pressure is actually enough for you. Just knowing that, okay, I have a call with Emma last week and we made a list of what I need to do and now I'm doing it. But I know that I have another call with her next Tuesday and she's going to ask me about what I did. So I want to be able to talk about what I did. Milo, come here. Okay. So you also might just really benefit from having I guess the social pressure, or just the knowing that someone else is wanting these results and working on these results with you. And you just, want to be able to tell someone about your progress. So okay, you had, let's say you have a call with me on a Friday. And we made a whole freaking list and we got real about what your kinky desires are, what's at the top of those lists that you want to happen, and then the actions that would get you closest to those things the fastest. So the steps. You have someone who helped you get there too and framed it in a great, positive, easy to implement way. And then you also know that you have a call with me next Saturday. And maybe just knowing that having someone who is going to show up at a time talk with you about what's happened is enough. Like maybe that's really all you, maybe that's just the piece that you need. That's enough of a push to get you doing the thing because you are excited to share your progress and you are excited to have someone in on this with you too. So it also, mentorship can be helpful if you just need to be in the energy of someone who makes those tasks easy and someone who also, takes those tasks easily and is doing similar things alongside of you. Especially if your support system, isn't making a ton of progress themselves or is on the slower side, it can be really hard to kick yourself into that gear of like, okay, I don't need to overthink it because my 5 closest friends are overthinking everything in their life. Like, I know what I need to do and I can just do it and then I can just have the thing I want. And won't that be so fucking cool? Okay, hope you enjoyed this really lovely, quick game plan about how to really quickly realize your dream kinky life. And like I said, I will have, or I guess I didn't say this already. All right, well, I'm going to have in the link of the show notes how to actually book in with me for a mentorship call so that you can get support and we can go through this together. If this is specifically what you want to be doing, like this, bullet list that I put out of listing your desires, your actions, and like noticing the patterns, you don't necessarily have to do it before our session. We can totally do it together if that's the way that if that's the kind of support you're seeking. But you also totally can like go through these steps before and then come to me with like where you're getting stuck or the frustrations. Like I actually really recommend that. I think that'd be really fun to then go through those things together so we can just hop right into the mindset shifts and like more of that reflection piece about, again, like what are the things that you can do first to make you that biggest impact or get you closer the fastest to what you fucking want, because that's what I want for you, dear friend. All right. Woo. I'm having a little bit of a med rush or something. It's like kind of early in my day, so my ADHD meds are going. So this was fast. Thanks for keeping up, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for joining me this episode. You can follow the podcast on the platform where you're listening to get updates with new episodes. You can follow me on social media at Kinky Bestie. I'm on Instagram. You can also check the show notes for any links or resources that I talked about in this episode or just more ways to connect with me. And please share this with your kinky friends who could benefit from this type of content. There is also an option for each podcast episode to engage with Q&As or polls. So I'd love to hear from you and create future episodes around what you want to chime in with. So please check those out in the show notes too. And I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.